It's the Week 17 Waiver Wire. If you made it this far, you're in the championship, or you're related to me. What's up, fam? Let's get your team ready to win one of these. Let's get it started. Do you have questions at quarterback? Don't worry, I got you. Baker Mayfield is my favorite pickup this week for the quarterback position. He's had 20 or more fantasy points in the last 3 games. He plays New Orleans this week, which isn't normally a great matchup, but the last time he played New Orleans, he had 24 fantasy points. There's slim pickings on the waiver wire. I think he's the best option. Honestly, it's pretty downhill from here. Next up, we have Derek Carr. Had back-to-back games with 20 or more points, going up against the Buccaneers. Honestly, I have a hard time trusting Derek Carr. He could get it done, but I'm not excited about it. I've been telling people to pick up Joe Flacco for weeks. I don't know about you, but he got me to the finals in my league. This is a terrible matchup though, and I'd really try not to start him. The New York Jets are incredible. It's a short week playing on Thursday. I know Flacco's balling, and you may not have any other options, but I wouldn't expect the upside you got this week. Lastly, we have Nick Mullins, back-to-back games with 19 or more fantasy points. He lost TJ Hawkinson, which hurts. The Green Bay matchup is pretty solid though. I think if you're desperate, he should be able to get you 18 to 20 points. Are you weak at wide receiver? Don't worry, I got you. KJ Osborne. With TJ Hawkinson going down, they're going to need to throw it to somebody else. Also, Jordan Addison got a little banged up in this game. There's a chance KJ Osborne's the number 2 on this team this week. Going up against Green Bay, who doesn't really scare you, I think KJ Osborne should be a solid start. He had 95 yards and a touchdown. Not bad. Next up, Demarcus Robinson. This is one of those where you're staying in the flames. He's had a touchdown in the last 4 games. And last week, he had 6 receptions for 82 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty good. I think if you're desperate, you can fire him up. Next up is a PPR play, Demario Douglas. He's had 8 or more targets in 3 of the last 4 games. I'm not excited about starting a New England Patriot wide receiver, but they're going up against the Buffalo Bills. They should be down, and Douglas is getting the targets. You could do worse. The rest of these are flyers, whether it be because they're mid or because there's injuries ahead of them. Romeo Doubs, it's a combination of both. The Packers have been dealing with some injuries. Romeo Doubs could be the last man standing. I think he could be a solid play. Raheem Shaheed, 9 targets last week for 5 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He's real boomer bust. So if you're feeling lucky, roll the dice. Another boomer bust dude, Darius Slayton. Not a great matchup, and the man's not getting a lot of targets, but he is a deep threat waiting to happen. With Tyrod Taylor behind center, I think the odds of a deep reception increase. He had 90 yards and a touchdown last week. If you're feeling lucky, roll the dice. Same thing with Wan'Dale Robinson, 7 targets in 2 of the last 3 games. Not particularly stoked about it, but these are desperate times. And Tyler Boyd, if Jamar Chase is out, I think he gets some more love. Kansas City's gonna score, at least they should. Boyd could get utilized more than he usually does. Another solid flyer. Are you having a rough time at running back? Don't worry, I got you. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, with Isaiah Pacheco's health up in the air and Jerick McKinnon being banged up, CEH might be the last man standing for a Kansas City Chiefs team that desperately needs a win. Going up against Cincinnati, if he's available, I think he's a must grab. All of these running backs are questionable because you really need the starter to be out. Zamir White falls into that category. He's had back-to-back games with 15 or more fantasy points. Last week, he tore up the Kansas City Chiefs, 22 carries for 145 yards. But if Josh Jacobs plays, he's irrelevant. Jacobs doesn't play, oh, he's gonna be good. Next up, Khalil Herbert. I believe Foreman didn't play due to personal reasons, so if he's back, Herbert's not a great play, but if he sits, Herbert going up against Atlanta should get the work. Now, Atlanta's not a great matchup, but it's the fantasy championship. If you're desperate and you got nobody else, Herbert could get some love. Are you having a tough time at tight end? Don't worry, I got you. First things first, check to see if Isaiah Likely is out there. If he is, he's obviously the option to grab, but he's not readily available. Let me give you some guys that are. Tucker Kraft's been okay. 4 receptions for almost 60 yards in 3 straight games. If you're looking for a solid floor, I think he's your guy. Gerald Everett has had 8 targets in the last 3 games. Now, they haven't turned into much more than 40 yards, but 8 targets is pretty good. If you're looking for 5 receptions and 40 yards getting you 9 points, I think he might be your guy. This one makes me really nervous. Darren Waller, honestly, he hasn't been great, but with Tyrod Taylor starting this game, there's a chance that he's pretty solid. Honestly, I think you're rolling the dice, but he's got upside. He is Darren Waller. For me, this one comes down to who the quarterback is. Chig Okonkwo has had 6 targets in 3 of the last 4 games. He went 6 for 6 for 63 yards and a touchdown last game with Ryan Tannehill. If Tannehill plays, I'm a lot more comfortable with Chig. If he doesn't, I'm a little more nervous. Are you desperate for a defense? Don't worry, I got you. First things first, if these two defenses are out there, grab them immediately. The Browns or the Jets, they face each other in what I believe will be a low-scoring game. Both of them are great plays, but let's be real, most likely they are not out there, so let me give you a few that are. Step 1, find somebody that's playing the Carolina Panthers. Step 2, start them. Jacksonville Jaguars get them this week. Panthers are not good, though they did put up a pretty good front this week. I think the Jaguars probably get a pick or two and a few sacks. Josh Allen's going to be in that backfield. Check to see if the Denver Broncos are available. If you're league smart, they aren't, but if they're out there, I think they're a good play. They go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Love starting defenses against backup quarterbacks. Now for a team that I know is going to be out there, the LA Rams, going up against the New York Giants. This is a good matchup. Giants don't really scare you, and the Rams defense has been playing better as of late. I think you can fire them up against a mid offense. There's only one Saturday game this week, but you still need to be ready. Don't forget, Lions at Cowboys. So if you have any of these players, make sure they're not in your flex position. Put them up in the wide receiver or running back spot. Thank me later. It's championship week. If you want one of these, pay attention. Look at who your opponent needs and pick them up off the waiver wire. If they need a quarterback, grab the quarterback. If they need a wide receiver, grab the receiver. Same thing with running backs, defenses, kickers, whatever they need. You grab it and you hold on. Because if you want one of these, a championship, you might need to get a little sly, get a little creative. Do what you gotta do to win that championship. The fact that your opponent doesn't have what they need on their roster is their fault, not yours. Exploit it. Take advantage. Seize the opportunity. Good luck on the waiver wire this week. Grab what you need and what they do too. Trust me, every little bit counts. Good luck on the wire. Peace.